Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl back again with another video, and it's going to be a little bit different videos than my previous things. Usually I'm jumping on hauls, doing some vlogs, chit-chatting. This time I just kind of want to get a little more personal with you guys and let you guys know a little story time about situations and really creepy situations or scary situations when I was running or experiences. And the majority of people following me just like spoiler, gotta say when I'm running. And I hope you just like this video, and I hope this video too is helpful for anyone, especially female runners who have been running on their own, secluded, or just working out, exercising, or just being out yourself as a woman in general. I feel like as females or just women in general, we tend to feel more cautious around our surroundings more than guys do. In my opinion, I feel that way, that we do double check a lot of our surroundings. And this is just two or three creepy incidents that I had while I was running. Probably get to two today because another one was a little deep. But anyways, if you're new to my channel, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, a like, and a subscribe if you like this kind of content. And if you guys do like this kind of content, let me know and I'll make a lot more stories. I do have some creepy stories that I have in my personal experience, and I just hope that this is helpful for anyone who's watching. Anyways, let's get to the video. So I want to first start out a little bit of background of me. So I've been running for as long, I believe it's like as long as I can remember, like in middle school. I can remember past that, but like I was always a natural running growing up. I was very athletic, and I was just into sports really early in my childhood. It was like the only thing really I could do in my small town beside do a bunch of shenanigans and hang out with my friends. So I joined a lot of sports when I was younger, and that one of it was track and field. And I joined track and field in middle school. I just started training and running with friends. I wasn't too particularly the best person on the team, nor I was the slowest or the most average. I was just okay. In general, there wasn't a lot of people who took serious anyways running when you're in middle school. Further on, I started running in high school right when I entered, I believe, probably like a sophomore year. I started rerunning again. At first I did not like running because I don't know why. In my freshman year, I just thought I didn't want to run at all, because I just rather do other sports like basketball, softball. I also did soccer. So I rather do like hands-on team sports rather than running alone on my sports. So eventually made it to running, my passion again, like one of my interests. Running again in my sophomore years, probably the end of my sophomore year, and then entering my junior year. I started running, and immediately during my junior year, I realized that I was not a sprinter. As many people who have experienced this, if you're a runner, you know you're a sprinter on day one, and those who know they're not a sprinter are either a long distance person. So I fully discovered that I was a long distance runner, not a sprinter. I am not fast at any level. Actually, I'm fairly short, and so I did not have the lengths to really beat people when I competed. I wasn't slow. I was just average speed, so nothing really particular. But I did have a strong experience or liking into long distance running. So I did have a good potential to run long distance, and my coach saw that right away, that I had potential to do more long distance. So for a while, I kind of complicated why I wanted to run long distance. I just kind of thought that was a terrible idea. Like many of you guys are probably thinking, why run long distance? That sounds terrible. And over time, I kind of realized, long distance is not bad. I do love going on long jogs, and it just felt relaxing. So one thing that I constantly did, so I can just do really well on my competition, is to run alone. And I lived in a place where it's primarily like an outskirt, and I didn't have much neighbors, just like in this little small town. It's like in the middle of nowhere, and in between the small town you just had a bunch of outskirts, and like the nearest city I believe was like maybe, let's see, like 5 to 8 miles away. So it wasn't too bad, right? But in between that 5 to 8 miles, it was just farmland. And I would constantly go out in these back roads. Mind you, they don't have like sidewalks or anything. It's just a back road. And I would just constantly run through the back roads and run back. And from like 5 to 8 miles from the new city to my city, I would constantly do my runs. Particularly, a lot of people probably ask, why didn't you run on a track, or why didn't I run around my neighborhood or on a treadmill? I didn't have a treadmill because growing up, I was very poor. Still am, not the most wealthiest, but I'm now decent and I have a really good, lifestyle. And we didn't have a gym nearby, so I couldn't use a treadmill. The closest treadmill I could get is probably from my high school, but of course it closed down after 5 p.m. after all the after school programs were kind of done. Another thing is that I got really tired of running around the track, to be honest. If you're a long distance runner, you'll probably understand why, because you're taking loops like literally, I think I was pounding about 5 to 8 miles a day. So imagine taking laps around a track for 5 to 8 miles. Like, it becomes so boring. So I kind of thought like the best way for me to improve my endurance and cardiovascular, whatever, my long distance mileage, is to run in the back roads. And that was probably the only option that I have. And so, I would wake up pretty early to go out and run. I love doing morning runs more than the afternoon, because in the afternoon it got a lot more busier. It got a lot more traffic. And yeah, so I just began running in the back roads for, I don't know, maybe for a whole summer or a few months, competing to my junior year and then my senior year. And I know that sounds kind of stupid to run by yourself, but in the morning I kind of thought no one would really be out there. But there was like a particular day I remember, I wanted to run in the morning, but I just didn't have time to run in the morning. But I wanted to hit my afternoon. I wanted to hit the afternoon at least before it got dark. And I believe this was during like almost like towards fall time. So the hour hasn't really truly changed yet. I lived in a place where seasons are really real here. So right, like the closer we get to winter, the less sunshine we get, and it just gets dark. And in general, it also gets very cold and wet here. So I did have to constantly check when the weather would change. So that's another thing. Anyways, I kind of end up running in the rain anyways for myself too. But it was a particular day where I started running in the afternoon, and I was literally, I believe, 5 miles in my run, and I was completely exhausted. And I was like, all right, let me turn back. This is a time, I don't know why. There's a time where I don't know why I ran that 5 miles. I knew that I had to run 5 miles back. And I thought that was ridiculous, because 10 miles, like, come on, like, but I really wanted to push myself. So I went and did my 5 miles, and I was ready to turn back my 5 miles until I see a truck come by. I was like already heading back, and then the truck comes the other direction. And I didn't really care. It's just a truck. And I like took a glimpse at it, but I was on my way. I was heading home. I needed to go get dinner. I was starving and I was tired, so I didn't pay too much attention to it. So this truck passed me on the way, and I kept running. It didn't make any. I didn't even care for it. And then I saw that truck again. It took a loop. And all of a sudden I was running that way, and then that car took a loop and it started going on the same direction that I was going. And I remember it was just an older guy. He was around, looks like he's 30s, late 30s, in his 40s. And he was just looking at me while he drove past by. And I'm kind of like, whatever. People always look at you when you're running anyways. It's just general, natural, whatever. And he ended up pulling through a driveway, which there was maybe 1 or 2 houses on the back roads that people live nearby, and they have long driveways. So that guy went into one of the driveways of the houses that I was literally going to pass by. And it wasn't a big deal at first. And I thought he was literally, maybe he'll live there, because I kind of thought, he lives there, or he's going to take a U-turn. I don't know. And immediately when I was running, I was in a zone, and he calls out, and he's like, hello, what's your name? And hello. And I didn't respond, because I was caught off guard. I was like, why are you talking to me? Like, I didn't even bother to call back, because I was like thinking, like, do you not see me running? I can hardly breathe. And because I have just so bad attitude. And then he's like, hello, you running? And I was like, what the fuck does this guy want? You know what I mean? And he said, hello, I'm kind of lost. Can you show me some directions? And I was just like completely like freaking out. I don't know why, but why is this guy literally asking for directions? Like, it's the 20th centuries. Let me tell you, this is actually 2013, 2012. So Google's around, GPS exists. Like, the city is literally like the opposite direction, you 5 miles away. You can ask for someone at the grocery store. Why are you asking me, a young girl? I was like 16, 17, running in the back roads, if I had directions. So he called to me and he said, hello. And he's like, would you mind showing me where I can get some directions? And so it was like so creepy. So immediately my heart just kind of got so anxious, because like I have this strong intuition of just like when things go wrong, like when I feel like I get vibes hardcore, when I feel like I'm in danger, or in some level I feel like threatened. So my intuition told me that just don't talk to him, don't say anything, just continue on your path and get going, because it's starting to get dark. So he literally he hopped back in his car. It didn't seem like me responding was getting anything out of his accomplishment. He hopped back in his truck, and he immediately started driving towards me. And mind you, that's when I freaked the fuck out, because he was at like the driveway and I was like heading back. And so he was about to literally almost, if I didn't speed the fuck up, he would block like literally the road of where I was running. So I speed the fuck up, and he started driving near me like when I was heading back. In a second. I was like, I'm going to kick into gear. So if you guys know about long distance people, or people in general who are runners, we always have a kick. And that kick is pretty much our last energy to the finish line. So I've been working on my kick for, I don't know, for like a few months now, when I was training in my junior year, because I really wanted to have a strong finish. So that's when I thought to myself, I need a kick, because I was literally being followed by a guy on his truck, calling to me and asking if I can help him. Obviously, it started to get a little more weirder that he was driving trying to drive next to me when I was running. So I was like, I'm going to take my kick. And I literally believe I only had about 1 or 2 miles left to get home and to my city, where there's a lot of people are outside, and there's also a lot of police patrolling. It would be so easy. It would be so obvious if he was trying to take me. Like, everybody would see it. And there's like cameras literally in our smaller neighborhood. But anyways, like, I literally kicked into drive. That was the fastest mile I had during my young time. I swear I broke my 5-minute run. Like, I was running quick. But that was one creepy incident. Immediately when I entered the city, actually, he ended up taking a U-turn from one of the city, and then turning back. Like literally when I entered the city, he took a U-turn. So like it was so freaking creepy. And that was like one of my first incidents where I felt like I was gonna get abducted. I felt like I was gonna get kidnapped, or it was just so creepy because I just think that's weird. Okay, so number 2 incident is also happening. I believe it's my senior year of high school, and at the same time I was running on the back road of where I so I was running in the back roads, but a different back road from the other back road that I almost got kidnapped. This back road was a lot more secluded. I hardly saw people driving through it because it was through it was like going to the middle of an outskirt, and especially like a town where it's completely like nobody, only like a few hundred people live there. So I didn't expect people to come and like drive through there. So it was and I was already running there for a very long time. And it was my senior year and I needed to hit more miles than usual. So I actually started working out twice a day. And for anyone who is an active runner or someone who is competing often, running twice a day is very normal. And I would run in the morning for my school, and I run in the afternoon for my cardiovascular to work out. And I was already getting to a place where I was going to start running in college. So I needed to, I just needed to stay in shape before my senior year was over, before I get recruited into a team in college. So, which was great news, but I also wanted to stay in tip-top shape, right? Because I wanted to prove that I was worth the scholarship and then as well as the recruitment. It's like a freshman year thing. I don't know why, but yeah, I was running in the back roads for almost every day, maybe 5 times a week. I had 2 rest days, and there's one incident where I went over the back road had like a bridge, and when I was reaching to the 2.5 miles of the back roads, you have to go over this hill. And I went over this hill one particular day, and I decided when I went over this hill, like my shoe became untied. And I was like, all right, let me tie my shoes. And I just felt like really tired. I just needed to stretch a bit. I felt a little tight. And I see again another car, straight up another truck. But this is a white truck, so it was different. And what I can remember, because this was 2014, about like, 6 years ago. And what I can remember is that I see this truck, 2 guys were in there, and they all started catcalling me. Mind you, I was like 18 years old, running in the back roads alone because of my stupid ass, right? And they literally started catcalling me. I don't remember everything, because when you get catcalled, you just don't remember everything what they fucking said. Most of the time, you're just awed why they're calling you that. Anyways, especially when you're a teenage girl and you're like a minor. And so I was literally caught off guard. Mind you, it's like a really hot summer. But I also started running in the afternoon during the summers because of the heat. So I'll run during before sunset. And then I'll be back by sunset. So then I can have light. But yeah, they started to catcall me during when I was tying my shoe, and immediately blocked the road where I was trying to run. And immediately try to, and I'd immediately I freaked the fuck out. I guess my instincts, when I feel like I'm in danger, where I truly understood I needed to run. And because there's 2 guys, like honestly, they're like some 2 white dudes, like honestly cannot take on 2 white dudes. I'm literally 4'11". I weighed like 115 pounds or a little less than that. I was tiny. I'm very tiny, but in general, like it's just not a good match. So I started literally, I went around their truck because they started blocking it. So I started running. Literally, I started fucking running for my life. And I know during that time, they were just like, I heard them from the back, surprised how fast I could run. And they're like, oh, she's quick, or stuff like that, because I can hear them from the truck. But they started following me actually when I started running away from them back home. And honestly, like, that was just the most blurriest time. All I remember, I knew I saw a sign that says 1 mile away from my town. And after they saw the 1 mile away from the town, they got pretty anxious. I can tell, I can hear them like, oh, we're their own. I heard them one time say like, oh, she's almost to town, we're almost to town, or something like that. And right when you enter my town, there's a church. So, and a lot of people are always having church session when I'm running. And so they immediately saw that there was a lot of people in the entrance. So there's no way they could honestly keep following me. But they eventually made a U-turn and then went back. It's just like a similar situation from my first one. I don't really know what the fuck was happening during that time. But that's just a short story of my story time of being followed when I was being run, like when I was running. I just remember like how much fear I had more than anything. I couldn't really process anything. I'm also really grateful that I was able to run. Like, I was able to physically escape, or I was physically able to get myself to safety. I still run sometimes. Well, actually, I graduated from college already, so I don't run as often. But when I do, I run with my fiance, and he's really good at taking me out for runs. But in general, like, I just want to make this video for any female runners who are outdoors or just working out or just minding your own business, is to watch your surroundings. And in general, be careful wherever you go, because especially when you're young and naive like I was, to let people know where you're going. I always let people know where I was going growing up. I just always said, I'm going to run back roads, or I'm going to run here. I wasn't always honest where I ran. I just kind of made up. And now I think back to my time, why didn't I tell my mom that I was actually running the back roads to a city that, it's like in the middle of nowhere. And I want to let you guys know, I hope you like this short, creepy video and how I explain my experience of people following me through the back roads. And I hope that you stay careful. I'm not sure what advice to give females besides to carry something that protects you. Be cautious about your surroundings. And on top of that, if you could find someone to run with you, run with them, or let someone know where you're going. Now I have literally a GPS where people know where the fuck I'm going if I'm running. It automatically just turns on my phone that I'm running a certain place. And I let usually my fiance know that when I'm running, or he usually runs with me. I also tried my best to work out in places that are populated and have a lot of people. But in general, like, it's very difficult, especially during this quarantine, to even get any sorts of exercise around people. So if anyone who's running, or as a female runner doing something on their own, I hope you stay safe. And maybe reference this video to anyone. If any of your friends who want to go and work out, is to join each other rather than go on your own. I just hope that you guys have a wonderful day, and thank you for staying to my story time. I hope you like this kind of video. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe. I wish it was a little more detailed than I can tell you, but in general, like, it was really a blur when I'm running, and I could just tell you I was just feeling immense, like, freaking out. Like, I don't know, like, anxiety when I was just in those situations. Comment below what do you think of my story, and I hope I catch you guys next time. Bye.